What's up, YouTube? It's Joel here. We've got your forced stimulus check update. We have a new bill for an automatic forced stimulus check. We have Biden's huge $6 trillion budget to go over and break down for all the new details. We also have good news for those on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security for healthcare expansion, monthly increase, and affordable housing. We have Janet Yellen, who says that Biden's budget will push the U.S. debt higher but not raise inflation. We have Democrats who are preparing to get this infrastructure plan with or without Republicans. This is your stimulus and economic news update, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. And if you don't mind, could you please do me a huge favor and destroy that like button? For the YouTube algorithm, I can't tell you how much it means to me, how much it means to True Life Investing in growing the channel and helping us to reach more and more people. And please, if anyone asks you for personal info or to contact them on WhatsApp, it's fake, it's not me, please don't do it. And if you're wanting to make some more money while Congress is getting all this stimulus sorted out, then you can go ahead and start investing by getting you 2 free stocks with Webull worth up to $1,850. And you can also sign up with Robinhood, and they give you 2 free stocks as well worth up to $500. But these are easy to use platforms, and they get you going on the right road to investing, and it's free money. Those links are down in the description. Let me know which free stocks you get, and if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section and I'll answer them. Biden has a $6 trillion budget for fiscal year 2022. Biden says that this will help to transform the American economy. And to put it into perspective, you can see in this chart that to take all the fiscal spending from 2013 to 2019, add it all together, and you would still be spending less than what Biden wants to do in 2022. So they are still negotiating on this bill in Congress, and it's more than likely going to change before it gets passed. But this would invest heavily in Biden's top priorities. We're talking infrastructure, education, research, public health, paid family leave, and child care. Now, to get things straight, this does include the last 2 huge $1 trillion bills that he's already proposed. We're talking about the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan. But this also outlines additional funds to launch a new health research agency to focus on diseases like cancer, and funds to address gun violence, tackle the climate crisis, and help end homelessness, and curb the opioid epidemic. Biden's proposal calls for spending to increase to more than $8 trillion by 2031, but then it would reduce the annual deficit beginning in 2030. Now, we have Shalonda Young, the acting director of the Office of Management and Budget, who said the investments are front-loaded and would be more than paid for by the reforms to the tax code that would require the most wealthy Americans and corporations to pay higher taxes. Now, President Biden has repeatedly said that Americans making less than $400,000 a year would not have to pay increased taxes. So lots of spending coming our way, but also a lot of potentially good things coming our way as well through the spending. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section on Biden's new $6 trillion budget. Now, a lot of people are concerned that all the new spending will cause inflation, and a lot of us can already tell that prices have gone up. We're talking groceries, gas, even building houses, lumber. So we have to make sure that we are clear on the differentiation between what the pandemic has done and what the additional stimulus has done. Because on a lot of things, the pandemic just caused a backup, and it's going to take some time to get things back to normal. But there are some things that are going up because of essentially policies or things that are put into place. So we have U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who said that President Joe Biden's fiscal 2022 budget plan will push U.S. debt above the size of the U.S. economy, but will not contribute to inflationary pressures, which she views as temporary. And Yellen also said and told a U.S. House of Representatives Appropriations Subcommittee hearing that the White House and the Treasury were closely monitoring inflation, but they were still slack in the economy that can absorb increased spending. The recent inflation we have seen will be temporary. It's not something that's endemic. Now, the federal government's ability to pay interest on the debt was a more important measure, she said, adding that the current real interest burden is currently negative because long-term Treasury yields of 1.6% are below an inflation rate of 2%. So the U.S. Secretary explains that now is the time to spend, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So we have Senate Democrats who plan to move forward with crafting this huge, massive infrastructure package next month, regardless of whether Republicans get on board or not. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wrote in a letter to Democrats saying, "We must pass comprehensive jobs and infrastructure legislation this summer." This is going back to the date that even Nancy Pelosi threw out, July the 4th, on having an infrastructure bill ready. Now, Biden has been working on creating a bipartisan bill with Republicans to pass this huge stimulus bill, but with what the leader of the Senate just said, this is starting to become more clear that the Democrats will be ready to pass this bill with or without any Republicans' votes or support. So these huge bills are coming whether there's bipartisan or not, because of the process budget reconciliation, which will allow the Democrats to be able to pass these bills with simple majority vote. So they can only do this 2 more times this year, so they're going to be very careful on what they use it for, and they're going to make sure that they get all the things they want in their bill, because it's looking like next year, if the Democrats lose some seats, it won't be a fully Democratic Congress. And then we will be back in the same boat as last year, where people needed help, but because of both sides not being able to agree, nothing got passed for a long time in Congress, and people that needed immediate relief didn't see it whenever they needed to. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section. If you're on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, or just retired, there are 3 main things to be concerned about that each person faces. That is healthcare, housing, and income. So 2022 is going to be a big year because a lot of reform is coming, and even we're going to see some reform this year. But Biden is bringing a lot of changes. We're talking about to the monthly checks that they receive, as well as housing and Medicare expansion. So number 1, monthly checks. The president and the leader of the Senate both want a substantial increase to the monthly checks received. First, it's getting everyone to 125% above the federal poverty line. So right now, the average payout is $794, and they want to increase that to $1,341 per month, on top of receiving an additional $200 to every Social Security recipient. Number 2, we have 156 Democrats in Congress who are pushing to lower the starting age for allowing people to enter into the Medicare program from where it's at to age 60. This would allow 23 million people to get in at an early age and get the health care they need. But not only that, but to increase the benefits to include dental, vision, and hearing coverage. Number 3, Biden already has it in his American Families Plan to provide billions of dollars for more affordable housing for the elderly, to allow them to get an increase and allow them to be in a much better spot and being able to afford their house or get into affordable housing and not have to lose out on the additional increases that are already being put into place because of their having to pay for more expensive housing. Also, to help out more, we have from the previous relief plan that raises the credit for childless adults from about $530 to $1,500 and raises the income limit for the credit from $16,000 to $21,000 for that earned income credit. Now, it also expands the eligible age range, eliminating the age gap for older workers. And if your earnings fall in 2021 due to the pandemic, you won't see your credit reduced. But with Biden's $6 trillion budget, a lot of reform is coming to a lot of programs in the U.S. And what's been listed is already in bills to make this happen. So let me know your thoughts on what's coming in the comments section, how this would affect you in your life. Now let's get into the 4th stimulus check. So right now, we already have lawmakers who plan to add the new fourth stimulus check to the infrastructure bill. This is for all those making less than $125,000 a year, and this would be $2,000 for adults and $1,000 for kids up to 3 kids max that they would receive. But now we have an additional part to the new stimulus direct payments that is being pushed. And now I think everyone can agree that the biggest issue that's been with these stimulus checks is that it's taken so long to get them, and that Congress has to pass them in a new bill for Americans to get that much needed relief whenever it's needed. So this push is called for automatic stabilizers for expanded unemployment and stimulus checks. Now they say this will help prevent the kind of partisan gridlock that stalled relief packages during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is where, they went back and forth, and we literally saw like 9 months in between the first stimulus check and the second stimulus check, just because both sides couldn't agree to getting a bill passed. So these automatic stabilizers would help lawmakers avoid negotiations tied to each relief package. This would set us up so that if things got bad again, that these stimulus checks would automatically hit your bank account automatically. No more votes, no more going back and forth. It would be tied to the economic conditions. So that way, when people need it the most, and they need it now, they get it now. If they do this, then it removes the political parties from the equation and puts Americans' relief on an immediate payout first. What are your thoughts on this? And are automatic payouts the solution? Because a lot of people say that they still need some relief. And a lot of people say that another stimulus check would literally help them out so much. But we do have a lot of people that say the economy is getting back to normal and that we don't need them. But there's a lot of Congress people that are pushing for them. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all stimulus and economic news that affects you and learn how to build some wealth. This is Joel with True Life Investing. Until next time, peace out.